Hey, rise and shine and give y'all the glorious. Actually, kind of chilly out here today. I got a sweater on, but I need to go get a coat. It's chilly. This is kind of crazy. But hey, so for you y'all who don't know, I'm doing fields and I help frustrated network marketers or network marketers who are newbies like myself learn this business. Now, I am no six-figure earner yet or seven-figure earner yet in this industry. I'm not a leaderboard person yet, but I'm on my way. And what I'm doing is I'm learning, and as I learn, I teach you so that you can learn too. I want us all to grow and all be successful in this business because I think that it's one of the best industries to be in because you can make a lot of money. If you look at all the top millionaires in the world, a lot of them have made their fortunes in network marketing. Now today I want to talk to you about this book that I read this book a while ago. My son just read the book recently because he had a book report, and so we were talking about the book. It's called The Sun Does Shine. It's about a guy named Anthony Ray Hinton who was wrongfully convicted of a crime and spent 30 years on death row because of it. And really because people were just too lazy to investigate. They just picked the first person and that was it. Somebody picked him out of a lineup. You know how you have the book with the mug shots in it? Well, somebody picked him out of that line. The person who the last crime was committed against and he survived, he picked his picture out of a lineup, and that was it. Even though there was proof that he was at work during the time that the murders took place, they didn't care about that. Even though the gun they found in his mother's house, the guy who found it said, "Oh, you can tell this guy, it was dust. The gun was dusty," and the guy said, "You can tell that nobody shot this gun in years." There was no fingerprints, no evidence whatsoever, but they arrested him, and the recommendation for the jury was that he spend life in prison, but the judge changed his sentence to be executed. So he was going to be killed. He came closer many, many times in that 30 years. But he had somebody, he just held on to his faith. He believed that he wasn't going to get arrested. You know, it's just crazy, especially with people picking. I remember one time I was mugged, and they brought me to the police precinct. Well, two things happened. I was mugged. I described the guy who mugged me. I said he was shorter than me. I'm 5'7". I said he was probably about 5'5", 5'6". He was about an inch or two shorter than me. He was dark complexion, and he had waves in his hair. He was wearing a white, what they call the white beaters, one of them little t-shirts, and he had on white jeans and white sneakers. This is the way I described him to the two white police officers who showed up to take the report. They stopped this guy, and they said, "Oh, we found the suspect who fits the description." So they drive me over to this guy who supposedly fit the description. This guy was like 6'4", light skin, with a big afro. He had on blue jeans. He did have on a white beater shirt with a hoodie on top, like had a unzipped hoodie on. The only thing that he had was the white beater. I was like, wait, hold up. How are you telling me that this is the guy that you picked to say that he was the guy that I described? I was so apologetic to this guy. I was like, I don't know why they stopped you. You look absolutely you do not fit the description of what I described. My son, that happened to him too. He was on his way from school one day, and two white officers stopped him, said that he fit the description of a suspect who had just robbed the convenience store. And the suspect who robbed the convenience store was, now my son is 6'6". At the time he was probably about 250 pounds, and he's light complexion. The two white guys who stopped him and detained him for a long time, and he had a bunch of people show up. And then when the black guy got there, he was like, "How y'all pick this guy?" The suspect was a lot shorter. He's only 5'5" and dark complexion. This guy's 6'6" and light complexion. They was like, "How'd you pick this guy?" And the only thing was, he had a red shirt on, and the suspect had a red shirt on. So they going by shirts. They're going to arrest people by shirts. It's crazy, but that's how the world operates. But I wasn't really going to talk about this guy's case. What I wanted to talk about was the 30 years that he spent in jail and how he had become programmed. Even once he was released and was home, he couldn't get away from the programming that he had been programmed for 30 years to do. Like, for example, on death row at his prison, they ate breakfast at 3 o'clock in the morning because they were in isolation. The people who were in death row stayed separate from the regular people, so they fed them first so that it didn't interfere with them feeding everybody else. So they ate at 3 o'clock in the morning, and even though he was sitting home, he still was waking up and eating his breakfast at 3 o'clock in the morning. Another thing, he was also sleeping. Although now he had a regular full size, a queen size or king size bed, he was always sleeping on the edge like he was on a cot, and he just couldn't get out of that habit. It just was a lot of little things that he had been doing over the 30 years that he was on death row, that once he became free, there was things that he was finding difficulty in breaking those habits. And that's how we are, especially when it comes to network marketing, because we have been programmed for so many years that having a job or working for somebody else is what is what we programmed to do. So when we now work for ourselves, it's a big mind shift on what it is that we have to do to change our thinking, change our ways. And not only just that, just a lot of the programming that we have is self-sabotage. We have a lot of self-sabotaging programming, and it's that way with a lot of people. One cool thing about this guy, Anthony Ray Hickton, was that he remained positive all those years. Like, he never... Well, when he first came in, he was bitter when he first came in for the first 2 months. He didn't speak to anybody. He didn't do anything first 2 months. He was just, wallowing in his sorrow about how messed up it had been to him, that he was, convicted for something that he knew he didn't do. But then after the 2 months, he kind of just realized, I can't be spending my whole time just letting them beat me down every day. So he kind of changed his attitude, and for the remaining of 30 years, he had a really positive attitude. And a positive attitude does a lot. I know, like, his faith, he had faith in God. He had lost his faith in God when he first was put in jail. But then when he developed it back, he started changing his mindset. And that's a hard thing to do, to be convicted of a crime for 30 years. Like, you have to say, what was God's plan for that? But what he is doing now, it has changed. I guess his whole life is helping convicted people, people without money, because that's basically the ones who get convicted wrongfully. It's people who just don't have the money to have anybody defend them, and they get one of these public defenders who could care less, because they're not going to go out their way to do anything to try to prove that this person was innocent or not. They really don't care. So, because they're not getting paid to do it anyway. They're resentful that they got picked to take this case for free. So they don't really care. And that's sad. But the point is, he had a really positive attitude the whole time. And when you want to change these bad habits that you have, like these habits that he accumulated or was programmed over the years, you have the same thing with us. We have to become conscious of the attitude first. You have to become conscious of what it is that's sabotaging you, and you have to become conscious of your thoughts. That's the main thing. You have to become conscious of your thoughts, and as soon as those thoughts hit your mind, you have to rebuke them. You say, get behind me, Satan, or whatever you say to rebuke the negative thoughts that you have that creep into your mind, or the negative behavior, or the negative attitude, or the negative programming. You have to become aware of it. That's the first step, becoming aware. Once you become aware of it, then you can do things to kind of like change those negative attitudes. Like, for example, if this guy was noticing that he was sleeping in a little corner, once he became aware of it, he could just stretch out. Oh, I'm not going to sleep there in the corner no more. Let me stretch out. Now, if you can't be aware that eating at 3 o'clock in the morning, if it didn't bother anybody, he didn't have any problem with eating at 3 o'clock in the morning. He was, right when he came out, he was living by himself. I think he's married now, but at that time he wasn't. He was living by himself. He didn't have no kids. He was locked up all of his life, so he didn't have, he wasn't married, didn't have any children. So if you live by yourself, you can get up 3 o'clock in the morning to eat breakfast. But if you live with somebody, it's kind of hard. That's why getting up every 3 o'clock in the morning to eat breakfast. So it might be a habit you want to break. But for you, break the habits. Break the habits that's holding you back. Break the habits that's caused you to not recruit every day or not work on it every day. Become conscious of the things that you're doing. Do something every single day where you're working on building up your business. Okay, listen, it's Happy Tuesday. I want you to have a good and awesome day. Be blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.